I am the more coach, right? I don't want anybody to miss that. I am the more coach. That is my calling. And my name is Nnoka. Right? I've not always been the more coach. In fact, my transformation started when I lost a high-paying job. Right? So I've written out certain things so that I don't forget it. So I'm going to bring back to what it is. I had lost this job, back in 2015, right? This high-paying job of mine, and that was when I discovered that the first 35 years of my life, right, had been spent, in an unconscious mode. In fact, I was in what is called autopilot mode, right? And I was bitter, I was sad, I was angry, I was all of the mixed up emotions that, I don't wish people to have, but sometimes, those, and I'm going to break it down later, those emotions are things that we need to process for us to get to higher levels in our lives, right? So I was bitter, sad, confused, angry, I was in inertia, right? And I slowed down in life, and by slowing down, I found out that those things because I wanted to run away from what I was truly feeling. And a lot of people are going through that right now in their lives, right? So they have coping mechanisms. They are doing certain things not because they love doing it, but because they are trying to avoid the hurt that they must have buried or suppressed in them. They are doing that because that is the only way they feel. They feel helpless, right? And so the only way to express themselves is by going into all of those conditioned activities or actions, right? There were so many things that I had made the norm, like high functioning anxiety, which I had suffered for so much. It sounds like it's a very big word, but I'm just going to break it down. High functioning anxiety is when you look good being anxious, right? That's just basically what it is. You're very anxious, you look good on the outside, but you're performing your job properly, but you are the only person suffering what is coming from that anxiety that you're going through. All right? So, look good, smell good, but you are going through a lot. Right? And I was going through that. There was the trauma that I had suffered without even knowing what that word was, because I really didn't even know what trauma was. I thought trauma meant that someone maybe had, just had some kind of wounds. I don't know what really I thought trauma was at the time, right? So that was what I was going through. And there are a lot of people that are going through all of those things, and they do not even know who they are. Because I didn't know who I was. For the first time, I was introduced to myself. I was broke, I was sad, I was everything that you didn't want to be at the time, right? But in all of that, when I eventually swam to the shores of my ruins, I eventually found out that I had much more within me that the world needed, and I had ignored those things. And that there were a lot of people that needed the gifts and talents that were within me, but I was not able to harness them. I was not able to unleash my full potential because of all of those emotional wounds and the choices that I have made in life as I had proceeded based on what I had explained earlier, your conditioning and also your actions that you have, defense mechanisms and all of that. All right, so I knew that I needed myself. I knew that I needed to stop for a moment and assess my life from time to time, but I didn't know how to do it. I was never taught how to do that. You know, most times everyone says, improve on yourself, this is what to do, this is what to do, but they never really break it down and take you and through the steps, the practical steps on how to do so. So most of us go through what I call trying to improve what you don't know, right? So how can you improve who you don't know? How can you improve, the best analogy, how can Apple improve iPhone 14 if they didn't even have an iPhone 1? If they didn't even know what an iPhone 1 was? It is impossible. And so many of us are going through like trying to improve ourselves, but we don't even know who we are. We've not even discovered ourselves. And that is what is happening, right? Because when I was 35, I found out I didn't even know who I was. I was waking up to who I was. A lot of people are doing exactly the same thing. So we have a lot of people wishing things, they were wishing their mental stability into being without doing anything towards it, right? And I saw that I could give more to the society, but this enforced drastic stop in my life and intentional reflection setback was indeed the turning point of my life. But we all do not need to wait for crisis in our lives for us to actually stop and evaluate our lives, right? Intentionally, not just just stopping doing a one-day church retreat. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about setting intentional days for us to do nothing but assess our lives, everything that we have been feeling, and actually have the tools. Because for you to do such a thing, you need to have the tools in your hand to be able to do this effectively, right? And strategies, very important. So I ignored my inner potential for too long. Yes, it was a blessing in disguise that I got to break down in this way so that I can come back in. It was a blessing, come back stronger rather. Was not just the only reason why I was able to step out or from being broken, and all of those emotions that I had spoken about. But I also had mentors. I also had people that showed me and guided me to the right mindset that allowed me to manifest being a transformational and mindset coach that I am right now, helping people globally to become better versions of themselves. Because I have also seen people that have lost their jobs or had similar predicaments, and they are still stuck there. They left. In fact, theirs was much earlier than mine, but I'm still stuck there. I have a number of people that I am also helping to see the dawn in their darkness and have gone through this as well, and it's taking them time. But guess what? With the right tools, people need the right tools and strategies, right, to be able to surmount such tragedy, or I'm going to put crisis or tragedy in quotes, because the things that I'm going to break down to you will also explain that life gives you exactly what you need at the time. Alright, so So over the years of living in my new life and transformation, certain things became clearer to me. In fact, three things stood out for me the most. The first is that I didn't have to wait for a crisis in my life to wake up to who I truly am. Me up from my, it was really a rude awakening from my 35 years slumber, right? To begin to see and know who I am. I didn't have to wait for that. In fact, life had a lot of lessons to teach me, but I had ignored it because I was doing what is called living life, trying to live life. So life is trying to teach you a lesson, but you're too busy trying to live life and earn a living that you do not actually live life. Right? So that was what I was doing. And I was postponing these classes I had in life. I was postponing going to this school, and graduating. That life had to force me to see what it was trying to teach me by taking away that job. So, if you understand that, then you can appreciate the break that life forced me into. Right? Yes. So, you don't have to wait for a crisis to live your life with purpose. You don't have to wait for an unfortunate incident to learn the valuable lessons from life, right? You can take these breaks, this and take this make this self-reflection a constant thing in your life, periodically, right? And also you can take vacations that are intentional, just vacations. Vacations are great, no doubt, but not just vacations for sightseeing, but intentional vacations that bring transformation to your life, right? And allow you to begin to see for yourself what you want to become, so that you can be a person of impact on the planet. And that is really why everybody is here, to make some form of impact, right? In your own way, right? In your own extraordinary way. You have your own extraordinary way of doing that. The camera guy has his, journalists have theirs, we have ours. Everybody has that seed of greatness that is planted within them, but they need the right conditions for that seed of greatness to grow. Every thing in the oak tree is contained in the acorn, but is asleep in the acorn until the acorn, which is the seed, is planted in the right soil with the right conditions for it to become that oak tree and produce as many seeds as itself, right? And so a lot of people are going through life sleeping their greatness within them in latent form, and they may never realize who they are until they are on their deathbed. That became a very important realization for me, right? And sometimes, we need to take those breaks away from the noise in the environment, the experiences that we're going through, the triggers so that we can go within where there is where we have the greatness, and we are away from the fear that cripples the creativity, that seed of creativity in us, and allow that to flourish. It's very important for our mental health. Very, very important. The second thing that stood out for me in this journey is that every challenge has it has equal advantage. Right? Very important to note. The bigger the challenge, the more significant the advantage. So that means that if I have a bigger challenge and I understand what I have just broken down, then I would not be worried about the challenge. I would rather be more interested about the opportunity and the advantage that what just happened to me is bringing my way. Do we understand where I'm coming from now? Right? And most times we are lost in the challenge, that we do not have our eyes open to the opportunities or what the challenge is calling forth from within us, is waking us up to, like the challenge woke me up to in my life, right? And so some of us, a lot of us, not just some, sail through life and pass by those opportunities, never get to take advantage of them because of the way we look at it. So the way you look at the challenge, right, largely depends on what you're feeding your mind with, right? And what you feed your mind with largely also depends on the people around you, the experiences, what you're listening to, and who you are speaking with, right? Right? And what you feed your mind, right? Our mind depends what we have accepted as our environment as well, because social media is also our environment, the accepted environment and groups that we have. Now, as humans, because this is a great analogy that we need to look at, as humans, when we feed our bodies, we take breaks. Some of us have had breakfast this morning. We take a break and have lunch, and we take another break to have dinner. Those breaks are very important because our body needs it to break down the food that we have eaten, process it, and then allows us to excrete or make away with the unwanted ones, right? The unwanted food, the ones that the body does not need. The longer the breaks, the healthier we become. And that is why there are people that are advocates of intermittent fasting. People that are doing intermittent fasting have more glowing skin, they are healthier, they look better, and they do not add as much weight as people that don't. Now, when it comes to feeding our minds, we don't do that. Because when we're feeding our bodies, no one can continuously feed their body over and over again without a break. You get to a point where you can't eat anything anymore, and you start to puke or throw up every single thing that you put in your body, right? Because your body cannot handle it, right? In fact, in a month, there are about 2 days every month that your body can make do without any food at all. And if you are a very conscious person, you will note that. Now, most people are not even aware of that when they are feeding their minds. So we feed our mind and feed our minds and feed our minds and do not take the breaks that we need to process what our mind has been feeding on. Our mind constantly eating, whether we are intentional about it or not. In a day, we process or with our mind we think over 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts in one day, right? And then the next day we're doing the same thing, and we're doing this over and over again. 98% of these thoughts are actually unconscious, right? And so if we are feeding our minds that way, it gets to a point where we start to vomit the things that our mind is taking, in without proceeding, because we have not sat down to actually process it. And guess what? Some of them are unconscious. So if we are not able to process those things, take the breaks, break them down, make do with the ones that we do not, or eliminate the ones that we do not need, what it does is that we have, we become angry people, we have bottled up emotions, we are anxious people, we are hurtful people because we don't even know why we're doing that. And all of these unconscious thoughts leads to emotions, and these emotions show up in our everyday life. And we do these things and we have normalized them. So it's very important for us to practice intermittent fasting too in our thinking, in our lives, in our minds, so that we can become mentally healthy, right? So that we can become healthier, body, mind, and soul, right? And this eating, this unhealthy mind eating, the symptoms of it can be seen everywhere in the angry drivers on the road that come out to shout at each other when they think the next person has impaired driving skills, right? Or they think that they are angry because the person bashed his car. Or you see this angry neighbor spewing hate and hate and what's the word? Just disappeared, right? Hate, anger and hate. That's what it is anyway. And all of the emotions that they bottled up inside, projecting the things that they are supposed to have processed inwards on the other person. You have angry colleagues and employees, employers, right, that are, projecting their issues, their inner issues on their neighbors, and it has nothing to do with the other person. You can see all of this everywhere, every day, and guess what? It doesn't have anything to do with status in life. It doesn't have anything to do with society. It doesn't have anything to do with who you are, or if you're a religious person, right? Because guess what? I've seen outraged religious leaders. I've seen people in high positions in the society that are not able to manage their emotions, or are obviously running on programs based on their actions. So why am I saying all of this? A lot of us are running on unconscious mental programs, and we are allowing it to be our way of life. We have accepted it, and what is making us live a mediocre life instead of a life of excellence. It's holding us back. is not freeing the creative genius in us to allow us to do more for ourselves. It's not allowing space for us for that, or allowing us to be the conduit for that which is already within to flow out and for us to make more impact and live a better and fulfilling life. Is making us have this void on the inside that makes us feel like we need more things on the outside to fill it up to be better. And so instead of facing what's on the inside and living life from the inside, blessing people with that unlimited potential on the inside, we're looking for up to the government, to our parents, blaming society or the next person for where we are in life. A lot of us can do much more if we take the needed breaks in life so that we can live our and manifest the dreams that we have had or we are still having, but we have set aside because we want to live life, right? And now a lot of this, like I said, is blocking us and is making it unconscious. So the breaks are going to help us take us away from the triggers of life, right? That is the best way to take these breaks so that your mind is not constantly eating, and then you can process what you need, see who you are destined to become, right? And then start to put the actions in place so that you will be it. In fact, you will embody it first of all and become it. All right. So the third thing that stood out for me, right, is forgiveness is for you, and is a very necessary thing to do for you to step into the next level in your life and manifest true abundance. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, she brought forgiveness here. Yes, unforgiveness acts as a barrier to our true potential. It acts as a barrier to our greatness. And I can tell you firsthand, as someone who has gone through it, has processed trauma, has processed the things I needed to forgive people so that I can rise to be where I am. Now we have a lot of people, unhealed teachers, unhealed government officials, unhealed religious leaders even, unhealed CEOs, trying and struggling to make an impact, but it will in society, yeah, but it will remain a struggle if they are not able to break free from the energies, the constricting energies of unforgiveness in their hearts, right? And the breaks that this I am talking about would help them move from this survival mode to thriving, because that is what we all need. We need to thrive, and the only way we can thrive is by being limitless, by opening ourselves up to the limitless potential that is within us. And all of these things I've said have held us back from opening ourselves up to that infinite potential that lies within us. And much more, right? So based on all of these realizations, there's so much more, but I'm not going to bore you with all of that, right? But based on these realizations, right, I started what is called the Manifest Your Dreams Retreat to be hosted in 6 countries this year, 2020. And the Manifest Your Dreams Retreat is supposed to open you up, take you away, first of all, from your busy environment, take you away from the triggers that you have around you, from the negative news, from the bad energies that may be around you, so that you may begin to get insight to the person that you are meant to be. It is supposed to help become the conditions, the right condition for the seed of greatness that lies in every one of us here, present, and in the world, so that we can blossom and thrive in life, right? A lot of us are waiting for the government to change for us to be great. I'm sorry, change or not, if you are not able to blossom right now, it may never happen. If you do not blossom right now, it may never happen. So the needed change is in you, waiting to make you happen. I know, and I'm very aware that the government plays a role, a major role, and I'm not knocking it up, right, in making the environment more conducive for us to do certain things. Yes. But when we hold the government accountable, can we also hold ourselves accountable to set the right conditions for us to be better versions of ourselves? Can we hold ourselves accountable to manifest the originality that is within us and release that excellence so that the world will be a better place? Can we do that? Because that is really what MORE is. MORE is an acronym which means manifesting originality to release excellence. Can we hold ourselves accountable to do that? Can we allow ourselves to be in the right mental state of mind, right? So that, and believe in ourselves so that we can bring forth that wealth of resources that is within to the physical, so that more people can benefit from what we have brought to this planet, the reason why we are here in the first place. Can we do that while we wait on the government? And can we do much more for ourselves so that eventually, because we are the government, so if we change ourselves, then the government, everything changes for us. So I applaud those that are in their own small way making the difference. But everyone can do it where they are right now. And that is what Manifest Your Dreams retreat is going to be doing for a lot of people, right? We're going to be taking people to a different location so that they can open themselves up and begin to reflect on what they are here on earth to do. Introduced to themselves. They can be introduced to deeper dimensions of themselves, where the potential lies within, where they can do anything that they put their mind to do, right? A lot of people are trying. In fact, a lot of people are doing much more in this challenging, you see I'm putting it in quotes again, challenging economy. A lot of people are making millions for themselves doing what they love in this challenging economy. But a lot of people are also waiting for the government. No one outside of you is going to make you a better version of yourself than you. So these breaks are very important, right? So I'm not going to be doing this alone. I'm doing it in collaboration with mainly with two powerful and incredible coaches, right? That have dedicated also their time to making sure that more people wake up to who they truly are and manifest why they are here on earth and on this planet, so that the world will be a better place. They are joyful. Eyo, right? She's a transformational coach that is based in Uyo, in Akwa Ibom, and also we have Coach Mwadito Akwiti, that is also a transformational coach that is based in Abuja, Nigeria. And then we'll also be doing this with other coaches that are in different, right? So I'm very, very excited to also let you know that we're going to be providing these tools and strategies, same that helped me move from where I was at the rock bottom, at the lowest point in my life, to where I am right now, to helping them to also move from their current paradigm, to open themselves to more possibilities. Because the difference between you and the person who invented the airplane is because that person decided that it was possible and made it so. That is the only difference, the belief system. So we're going to be taking you through through your current paradigm and belief system to higher possibilities in your life. And then we're going to be showing you how to use your consciousness, the power of directed consciousness, your ability to concentrate in retreats that we've had before. But this is a major retreat that is yet what's helping people to actually manifest their life of excellence, right? And limitless possibilities. So we're going to help them to reprogram their subconscious. Remember, I said a lot of the things that we do as subconscious, we're going to be teaching them the tools to walk into their subconscious mind, reprogram it, take away the things that are not necessary, things that they no longer need in their mind, and then begin to put in there the things that are important to them through the coaching tools that we're going to be giving to them. These things are very important. In fact, it is very vital for you to change your mind. And 95% of your mind is subconscious. So it's very important for you to change your mind, to live the life that you want to live, the life that you want for the person that you're planning to become can only come to existence if you change your mind and your personality. And that is what we're going to be teaching people, how to take off the mask that they have been wearing for so long, like I was wearing, and they can eventually set their selves, up for the kind of success that they expect in their lives, right? And by doing this, we expect people to have greater sense of purpose and live the retreats, right, that we have designed, 3 days to 5 days retreats. Well, we expect them to leave those retreats more rejuvenated, more excited about life, able to create wealth, health, a new mindset, and live a more fulfilling life, right here on earth. And the 5 countries: Dubai, first in Ghana, then is the next is South Africa in June, in August, and then in Dubai in September. Next would be Kigali in October, UK in November, and then Nigeria in December to crown all of this. So this is our vision. Our vision is to ensure that, or help as many people as possible to become to embrace higher versions of themselves, create the life that they want to, or they want for themselves here on earth, and then manifest their originality to release excellence in everything that they do, so that they can have their own signature. Who I am is different from who Yvette Baker is. It's different from who my beautiful sis, right, Mercy is. It's different from everyone here. How can you manifest that person that you were created to be and live a life of excellence, even in a challenging economy? That is what this Manifest Your Dreams is all about. And then we also are going to have the Evolve to Become More, which is specialized for women, right? Evolve to Become More is going to be a physical retreat as well for women in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, in July, where we're going to have all of the women coming at that very important day to help them to evolve, like it says, to become more, right? And I already talked about what more is: manifesting originality to release excellence.